After 20 weeks, we are back. Except we're on the wrong sides. Here, let me put everything back. Okay, now everything's fine. It took 20 weeks to slide those things back. How's everybody doing? Victor, good to see you.
Still remembered what's your side.
Well, I don't know why it didn't go that way. Oh, I do know why. Because you got in first. And the first always goes to the left. Don't know why. Hey, Karen, good to see you. Thank you. We are back for this week. For 1 week. We'll be back again the week after. Next week's July 4th. I'm taking July 4th off. Sorry. Just going to happen. Hi, I'm Darren. The server here is Victor, and we are the co-host of a podcast called DevOps Paradox that is returning. Yes, it is. On July 9th, 2025. So it's in a couple of weeks as we're doing this live. Gives me time to get some more editing done because obviously I was way behind. And on Fridays when we're around, like we were this Friday, because I figured, let's see if I can even remember how to do this. I had to do the math. February 7th was the last time we did a live stream, 20 weeks ago. That 20, which sounds further away? 20 weeks or February 7th? Today being June 27th. Which feels
20 weeks.
20 weeks feels further, right?
The months or weeks or days now. Yeah, 20 weeks.
It was 20, but it's the same thing. It's been 20 weeks.
5 months. Give or
Close to it. Yeah, close to 5 months. Wow. Anyway, we're back. And there's been things happening since we were gone that I've learned. So we might just get into the news because we used to joke about AI being something, huh?
I mean, speaking of things happening, you might want to check, are you still employed?
I am.
Okay. Then not that many things.
Yeah, well, that didn't change. So we'll leave that there. Yeah, but yes, I'm still employed. For how long? Remains to be seen, I guess. So let's get into it because I want to go ahead and sort of get past. So if I cry, it happens fast. For people that didn't know, I released this last week. My wife passed away in March, and that's the reason why we've been dark. Me just coming out of the getting out of bed each day or learning how to make my own meals, which I already knew how to do, but she was a much better cook than I am. So anyway, I love you, babe. That's, if you haven't listened to it, that explains more in what's going on. If I do it right now, I'll just start crying again. So I don't want to do that. So let's move on. Thank you very much. Everything is AI now. Everything is AI. It wasn't this way 20 weeks ago. Well, I mean, it was, but it wasn't, right?
Now it's all AI.
It's all AI. Across the board.
What else is there?
Oh my gosh. I don't know, man. That's
I mean, vendors are only investing in AI.
right.
And users are only buying AI. So that's what it is.
It's almost as if we've done this before. It's just now this is the new. Is this the new pets.com though? I'm still thinking through in the back of my head. It's the sock puppet. And
it is a new .com boom, yes. And just like in .com boom, many will disappear, but then we will see emergence of new massive companies, right? Because when people talk about .com boom, they talk about companies disappeared, but they rarely talk about the AWS and Google and others that actually emerged from that, right?
Yeah, exactly. When you get to this, Luis, thanks, man. Good to see you. So this A2A, Agent to Agent, was donated to the Linux Foundation. This week was the Open Source Con. That's not the correct name. Forgive me. It was in Denver this week. I think today was the last day or whatever. Yeah, Open Source Summit North America, which is a great place to announce that. But look at this. AWS, Cisco, Google. So AWS, I'm going to leave Cisco out. Google, Microsoft. AWS, GCP, Azure. Salesforce, SAP, and ServiceNow. Of course, I saw that Salesforce was making big AI things. Mark Benioff said, 170% of all of our code is being written by AI. That's not the percentage that he said. That's what it feels like, though. And then just even here though, I'm going to throw this out here. SAP. I mean, who even knew that SAP was still a thing? I mean, I did,
Oh
but
yeah, that's they're big. Nobody
look at
cares,
this.
But
I mean, I didn't do the math. I probably should have. I would wonder what the market capitalization is of those 7 companies stacked together.
that's bigger GDP than many countries. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, and Apple's missing from that, but that's not surprising because I think they're like me. It's like, well, let's see how it really works out. But no.
I don't know if you have it in the news, right? Kind of, but Apple basically released a paper that says AI, no.
Yeah.
And then they released it just before their big event, whatever, W something, where basically they expertly avoided any AI because they know that they have nothing.
Yeah, which is fine. But they have other things that we're going to talk about later. So anyway, this protocol. So the question is how many people are going to fork this, and we're going to have 75 standards of this.
I mean, A2A is pretty much a standard
It is,
already,
yeah.
right? It is very widely adopted. So now it's basically the most widely used standard is now in a foundation, right? Which can only increase it, not decrease it.
We hope so. Anyway.
Because everybody realized that actually there will not be one player. And that's the important part. So Google cannot, and I'm using Google as an example, it applies to everybody. They cannot assume anymore that it's only their agents talking to their agents and so on and so forth, right? So once they realized that, then everybody became open to some sort of standard. Okay, so if my agents are going to talk to your agents, how we're going to do that?
It's the next version of REST, if you will. Next version of RPC. Putting in the foundation, whatever. Continue to work with our partners, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I think it's a good thing. The other thing that came out of Google this week was Gemini CLI. Now, I sent this to you as soon as I saw it. Have you played with it yet?
Yes, I did. It's a disaster.
Okay.
With a lot of potential.
Okay, then let's save it right there. But let's see what they said, because again, I haven't. So let me put it this way: you've got access to all these things to where it's not having to come out of your pocket.
Yes.
More or less.
More or less.
I don't. So that's one of the other reasons why I'm not playing with a lot of things, because
Yes. And they're very generous with CLI. I
right.
think.
Let's see what it says here. To use it, simply log in with a personal Google account to get a free Gemini Code Assist license. That free license gives you 2.5 Pro and 1 million context window. Holy cow. It's the context windows, man.
That's what makes it great. That's why I said disaster with a lot of potential, right?
Yeah.
Having a CLI, it's turning up that actually CLI agents happen to be doing better than those in IDEs for whatever reason. Kind of Cloud Code just kills everybody, right? And this has a potential to be better simply because of the context window, right? The bigger the context window, the more of your code it can process and hold at once, which is absolutely awesome. Because like if you use Gemini, which Gemini actually has 1 million context window, but if you use it in Cursor is not going to be using 1 million context window, right? Because Cursor is trying to make it as cheap as possible so that their subscription lasts and does not cost them too much and so on and so forth. So if you use Gemini with Cursor, for example, you're not benefiting from that 1 million context window, right? There are others like Windsurf that actually are not really trying to compress and cut your context. But in Cursor, you're not benefiting from it. From the CLI, you are.
And didn't Windsurf get purchased by OpenAI? I think that was one of the...
Yes,
okay.
It was purchased by OpenAI. And that gives me bad vibes. OpenAI is great, just to be clear, but they are not in the race right now for coding.
Right. Grounds prompt, Google search, blah, blah, blah. Okay, anyway. So I'm sure we'll see a video about this come out from you at some point in the future.
Yes, I will probably wait for a couple of months for it to be what it's supposed to be, and then do some material.
Go from there. Okay. Something that most people probably don't care about, Jakarta EE11 is now GA'd. I know you don't care about it anymore, but this is a big deal.
What is it? You need to tell me what
It's
it
the
is,
new
and then I will say that I don't care.
It's exactly the latest version of its enterprise Java platform.
Is that Java EE, basically?
Java EE, that's all it is. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's
That
Jakarta.
exists?
Yes, it still exists. And it's still being worked on. There's actually a lot of if you're a Java developer, there's a lot of cool things in it. So just
Okay, so
it's
this is me not being informed. If you're starting a new project in Java, is Java EE a thing?
it's stuff you would use inside of your, so you would use Quarkus, you would use Spring, you would use whatever for your app. But then inside of it, if there's not a already, if you get down to the middle of all those things, you're going to see Jakarta, or used to be Java X, but then it moved to Jakarta. Okay. That's part of it. But then, so 10 was GA, now 11's GA. That's all it is.
Nice.
It's things to, in the next 12 months, if you're using this, you'll be moving things. 'Cause I saw a demo of this last fall from somebody from Eclipse, and some of the new stuff it added was, again, if you're a Java enterprise developer, it's very useful. I won't bore you with this anymore, but I wanted to capture it. But I want to go back to this. Okay, Heroku, they fired the shot here because I hadn't seen anybody else do this yet. And if it makes sense for Heroku to do this. It makes sense for Heroku to be the ones to do this first, in my opinion. AI platform as a service, right? Because they were platform as a service before platform as a service really was.
Exactly.
Now they're doing AI platform as a service. And of course, they're owned by Salesforce, but they still run it all on AWS. Okay, we'll leave that one there because I could get lost for hours on that one. Is this the next war? Now we're going to start getting what we're going to see from AWS and Azure and GCP. Now we're going to see this push button AI platform.
Yeah, but I tend to divide projects or services like that into categories, and one category would be actually we are trying to get new market, like Anthropic. We are starting from nothing and trying to actually convince people to use it. The other group would be, which I guess that this is where it belongs. This is not really trying to convert anybody to come to Heroku. Kind of, not many people are going to come to Heroku because now it's a platform, something, maybe some, but not many. I feel that this is more their existing customers asking for it. There are many other services or projects like that, right? Simply, we cannot ignore it anymore. Customers are asking for it, and we don't want them to leave. So here it goes.
Well, here's what's in it. AppLink enables Agentforce, that's Salesforce stuff, to work. It's like, okay, great. That's coming in July. AI native tool integration. Okay, great. That's available today. That was just announced a couple of weeks ago. MCP was just announced this week or last week. And then managed inference and agents.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to draw all the parallels to what we used to have back in the late 2000s. And I'm still getting back into the day job.
I'm not following Heroku much, but if it's anything like it was before, then you don't need AI. It's so simple that you don't need anything. It's just easy, which is great.
So if they're able to make all of this stuff, if they're able to make all the AI stuff as easy as they've always made applications, is that a big deal?
Not necessarily for Heroku before. I suspect, and I don't know for sure, that they're trying to be in the first category, that, hey, we can actually host your models now, which I'm not sure whether it makes sense in general, especially with them. And we can enable you to create something completely new, platform based on AI. I'm not sure whether Heroku has a way to actually pull something like that.
Well, they are running on AWS. So, you know,
So does everybody.
So does everybody. Just like we saw the other week when, what was it? Somebody did one push and the internet broke. What was that, a couple of weeks ago? You were probably out of town.
That's something I forgot to say about Gemini CLI. It turned up that Gemini broke. I had a bunch of messages kind of, we are overloaded or something like that. It doesn't work. I know quite a few people that, so I don't know whether that's because everybody tried to try the CLI at the same time, or more likely that Gemini simply is under very, very heavy load, which is good for them.
Yeah. Okay. Move on. I saw this week, introducing CC Signals, a new social contract for the age of AI. So you know what Creative Commons is, right? How you're allowed to use certain things. Okay. Well, now they're working on creating this CC Signals, a new preference signals framework designed to increase reciprocity and sustain a Creative Commons in the age of AI. Lawyers. Signals represents a major step forward in building a more equitable, sustainable AI ecosystem rooted in shared benefits. I have a feeling AI wrote this. This step of culmination is years of consultation analysis, is blah, blah, blah. Okay. So basically, just trying to give what is, I guess to me, I'm still trying to, because they're still working on it, but the horse left the barn 3 years ago when everybody was scraping the data.
Yeah. Also, this should be watched in the light of the recent ruling with Anthropic.
Yes.
Where actually Anthropic, and my interpretation of that ruling, is simplified one, is actually using public data for training is okay.
Yep.
What is not okay if you obtain that data illegally.
Correct. That's the way that I read that response from the judge. And I'm not a lawyer, you're not either. But that's what it felt like. It's like, hey, look, if it's public and I didn't have to log in to get it, how's that any different? How is that different than Google indexing the data for search?
Yeah, or
right?
reading a book.
Or reading a book. Yeah.
Right.
Now, if you obtained it illegally, that's...
Exactly. I cannot steal the book. I can legally read a book and nobody can say, hey, oh, you learned something from that, right? I just cannot steal the book.
Yeah. And I'm looking here, wanting feedback, working towards an alpha in November of this year.
You know what is November this year? That's like 6 months from now. That's eternity.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see what happens. Have to admit, though, I like the name. If nothing else. It's a cool name.
Yeah.
All right. I put this video in here. Oh, by the way, all the links are already down below the video today, so you can follow along if you'd like. Tiago Forte is the guy that did, what was it? The Second Brain or whatever book did it. Val, that was something Val was doing. She was actually using it a lot. She's using Evernote though, but it worked for her. The prompt changed everything. This concept of a master prompt feels very BS to me. I don't
know. What's the gist of it?
It's breaking out Lord of the Rings. It's one to rule them all, one X to rule them all. So people are always like, oh, this is the best master prompt. This is the best master prompt. It's like, it's the magic unlock for everything working. Yeah, I do
believe that this is the prompt that works great for this. And this is the prompt that works great for that. One master prompt is just going to confuse AI.
Yeah, and
that's what it is. Kind of like I have one prompt that I can code, I can do backend, I can do frontend, I can do infrastructure, I can write a novel. No.
It just doesn't feel right. And I think it's got to go beyond just, even if it's a prompt in concert with this model. Right?
Think
I mean,
of it from the perspective of human. Let's say that,
Yeah.
right? You join my company, let's say software engineer, right? And I will give you some docs to read. Think of them as a prompt. Cool. But if I start giving you HR and marketing documents and so on and so forth, what am I going to accomplish? You're just going to be more lost than you were before.
Is that how, I mean, I think the answer is yes. This is how we have to think about all these things. It's like, give it a task, do one thing. It's like, this is like when we were writing these Uber apps, not Uber itself, but these apps do everything instead of just having purpose-built apps to do a thing.
And especially since writing good prompts, system prompts, right? Initial prompts, whatever the name is, that takes time. You'll do something, and then over time you will be modifying it and improving it, and so on and so forth, right? And for you, it is so much easier to have 10 different prompts for 10 different tasks and maintain 10 different prompts than one Uber prompt. Must be.
Yeah, it just feels like a master.
In the video, so I don't know whether that's.
It's interesting. I mean, it makes reasonable arguments, but it's the concept of a master prompt just doesn't. Now, an umbrella prompt makes sense to coordinate multiple other prompts, right? That's basically a manager at that point.
Yeah, kind of basically, that would be already, we would be talking about multi-agent setup,
Right.
even if it's physically one agent, right? I mean, I use a single agent most of the time, but then I start a new session and then I load this prompt. And then I start a new session and I load some other prompt.
Yeah. Anyway, I threw that one.
You can also think of it this way, right? All those models come with some kind of a master prompt. Right. And I'm pretty sure that those are better written than I could ever do as a very generic works for everything prompt, right? I have no aspirations to say that whatever is the system prompt for ChatGPT that is supposed to do work for everybody on everything, I have no illusion that I'm going to write it better than them. What I do have illusion that I will write for my specific task better than them.
Well, I'll have to go with that because, again, I'm 5 months behind now. So we'll figure that out as we go through. Here's one thing that you were talking about Apple earlier. They now have the built-in framework in Mac OS 26.
Yeah.
So I won't need anything. It's just all built in. Now, I've got one machine. I've got a Mac Mini that I could rebuild that I'm not really using for anything major. I could rebuild it with 26 and test this out now. Because they're pretty explicit. It's like, look, you got to have 26 in order for this to work. It's like, well, that makes sense.
This is maybe because I'm not using Docker that much. So I might be wrong, but simply, I don't see a problem with it. It's there. I'm not sure how many people are focused on kind of, I'm looking for a better way to run containers.
Well, yeah, that's probably true.
Right? What to me I don't know whether that's where Apple is going. What could be more interesting is actually having a baked-in container engine for app developers as a distribution. That could be very interesting. Yeah. I go to App Store, I install something, and that's installed as a container on my Mac. That sounds like a potentially good idea.
Yeah, Sandbox.
I'd never know about it.
Right. Nice and sandbox. You don't have to worry about things. That's...
Yeah.
That to me, that seems like a really good use case for it. As long as it's actually really contained, which it should be. But anyway, container. This will be the thing to watch over the next few months, I think, once it goes GA. Have you ever heard of Wait for X? Have you ever heard of this?
No, what is it? To wait for...
A port or service to a requested state with a customized interval time. So basically, you can wait for things. So like how you would typically do a watch, you would do a watch until it would loop out.
Mhm.
This is that, except it's fully portable. And you
Okay.
can stack things together. So the example was usage examples. So wait for a port to be available, or
Okay.
wait for an endpoint with a status code and body check. So imagine throwing this in a script that you're just waiting for a stack to come. Like, okay, I know you don't do it anymore, but Docker Compose, where you can set things up and have dependencies and all those things. Just think of it
I can
outside of that.
Wait.
Yeah. Now, why they called it wait for X, I don't know, because that's,
So that feels like equivalent of kube control wait.
yes. I know it doesn't seem that big of a deal to you, but I think it's pretty cool. And it's old. It's not new. It's been around for dirt.
Okay.
So I thought, oh, I haven't heard of that before. It's like, oh, it's been around forever. It's like, oh, okay. And it's in Go, so it's lightweight, which...
Then
okay,
it cannot
whatever.
be that old.
Okay, here. 38 releases.
It cannot be like 10 years old.
Let's see. We'll go to tags. Next. It can't be 10 years, but it could be. So the first release was February 2020. If they have only known a month later.
5 years.
Uh,
There we go.
yeah. And the
Early
one came
adopters.
out, 1.0 came out in January 22. So 3+ years. Yeah.
Nice.
So it got away from us for that long. So that's waitforx dot, what was it? .org? Now I don't remember. I am way out of practice. Waitforx.dev. .dev. Okay. Mash. You heard of this one?
No.
A customizable command launcher for storing and executing commands. So to me, this feels like an interactive list of blah, 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 whatever. So you can just stack commands. So instead of writing your function list, I guess, you can build out things. There's
This
what the...
feels like it's a charm project.
Well, let's see. It's not charm, but are they using charm? Let's see. We'll go to Mango. Charm. Yep, it is.
I recognize it every time.
All of them. Huh. Lip gloss, bubble tea, bubbles. Yes, it's a lot of charm going on, but it's not from charm. So that's Mash. Looks pretty interesting. I haven't installed that one yet either. I'm trying to justify spending the time. This one is new, by the way. Speaking of charm, Fang is new.
Yeah.
Have you seen
it
Fang?
is.
Okay.
No.
Okay. It's a CLI starter kit, a small experimental library for batteries included Cobra applications. So it makes Cobra even easier. Well,
Brilliant.
excuse me. Except Cobra is not easy, by the way.
I
So
mean,
you-
to be honest, charm libraries are not are
Easy.
even less easy in general. But if
Yeah.
this makes it easier,
So here's the
I'm
example.
very, very interested.
So importing Cobra and Fang, and you just say Cobra command, blah, 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 and then that gives you everything, whatever that is.
But here's one of the things I learned while working with AI, like for the last half a year, heavily, all the time.
Mm.
It's actually not a good idea to go with something very, very new. It takes more time to actually explain it what it is.
Yeah.
Right? If you would say, you would be, so let's say that this is easier than Cobra, almost certainly it is, and
Mhm.
better and what's not. If you just type the code yourself, this is great. Now, if you say AI, hey, create me a CLI, you will get there faster with Cobra directly.
Right. But anyway, I figured you might like this. I don't know.
Oh,
Awesome.
I'm going to definitely try it. Oh yeah.
I figured
know
you
what
would.
I'm going to try to rewrite.
This is new, like new, like new. Weeks, not even weeks old, I don't think. Let's see, when was the first day? Because I thought when I saved this, it was like the first version was last week. Last week is the last week.
Nice.
Okay. I can't hover it. I thought I could. Okay, that was Fang. Where am I at now? Microsandbox, easy, secure execution of untrusted user AI code. Microsandbox. Ever need to run code you don't fully trust? Every stinking day. Whether it's AI-generated code, user submissions, or experimental code, the traditional operations, blah, 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 running locally, using containers, all the things.
So what's the reason why it's better than using containers?
Well, it's using micro VMs. And stuff.
Containers. So I'm assuming this is more for local something than running in
Yes.
production.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because you're trying to test code out. You know.
Yeah. But my containers are locally, unless I'm using Linux, they're running in a VM. So they're actually pretty contained.
Right. Instant startup. Again, they're using the micro VMs. Fully infrastructure, OCI compatible, blah, blah, blah. Built-in MCP support. Okay, whatever.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Or at least worthwhile checking.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, that's fine. It's just SDKs. No, that's fine.
Okay.
Those are the only 3 SDKs they have right now, and they're getting ready to expand to others. That's fine.
Okay. Fair enough.
Both you and I had the exact same reaction. You just verbalized yours. There's whatever it is.
Okay, so it's basically something you put in your code.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it would be kind of executable or something like that. Okay.
Well, there is an executable too. There's a server as well.
Okay.
So it works. So it's also ECP. So it works directly with Claude, Agno, and other blah blah blah.
Cool.
Okay. Beyond that, I don't know because I haven't done anything with it. A Sandbox file. Okay, great. Sandbox file. What does that look like? Image, blah, blah, blah. Okay, anyway, that's that one. That's microsandbox. Goose, I sent this one over to you earlier. This is a guy that's working on it. We both know. We've talked about Goose before. We've used Goose before. I haven't touched it since we first did it. But it's basically you start it up and it watches what you do. And then it will start doing what you did.
Yeah. I want something like that.
That's what we want.
I'm very skeptical of, installation took 20 minutes.
Oh, I'm sure.
And
'Cause it's all
downloaded
Python,
half
right?
internet.
Yeah. Now, fair warning, it is experimental. So don't expect
Yeah.
optimizations.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm more interested in this. Is going to sound awful. First, I want to see something like that works on my phone. Mostly because when I fire up Perplexity or Gemini or something like that, hey, I want to find me a good restaurant around me. Where are you? Well. Check my phone. You're running on my phone. I cannot communicate with this. Open it in Google Maps. I cannot talk to Google Maps. Come on. I'm waiting for something that can really. I don't know whether this is the thing. I'm gonna give it another try. But something that can really do stuff for me.
That's been the promise of Siri and Alexa all along, right?
I think that even Apple gave up on Siri. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's very curious because those models like Gemini is a good example, right? It's obviously so capable. It is so much better with answers and faster and on every level than Google Home or Assistant or whatever is the name. Except that the Google Assistant could actually open Google Maps and Gemini cannot. I don't understand how is that possible.
Yeah,
It's a mystery.
Yeah. So anyway, that is Goose Perception. We'll see. And then your video this week felt like a wrap-up video, but I have a feeling it's not a wrap-up video.
It is more or less kind of, okay, so I've been on and off using AI for a long time, but heavily, like literally for everything for half a year. And that's kind of my lessons learned in a way.
Yeah.
Think
Now,
of it that way.
one of the things I caught here, feature isn't spelled correctly, and that is not you.
That's not me. No. I generated it. It looks like me.
It's
Most,
sort of.
sort of, yeah.
Sort of. The face is like this instead of like that. The face is very, very straight.
I look better when AI does it.
Maybe that's what I need
It's
to do.
a vanity thing.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's just kind of. So I this is not a great thumbnail, but it's so easy to make, man.
Okay, walk me through, since we have a couple minutes here, and we won't run to the top of the hour because I'm still getting my sea legs back underneath me. Okay, one thing I noticed about the posting of this back over into the Slack workspace is it was posted by the YouTube bot. That's the first time I'd seen that.
I told you that I'm into AI now.
Okay, so what is your process for making this thumbnail? Can you talk it through?
So I write the whole manuscript for a video first, against my wishes. I don't like doing that. I prefer talking straight to the camera. But I had to start doing that. That's nothing to do with AI. I had to start doing that because the editor was freaking out, right? So it's so much easier to assemble the video when actually there is a script of what I'm talking about and so on and so forth, and where the code goes and so on and so forth. So I have to have a script for editing purposes. And then to create a thumbnail, basically, I have I don't know, maybe 100 lines master prompt, to use the expression from before, that essentially instructs an agent to go through the whole manuscript and suggest create 3 other prompts based on the manuscript that I can paste into a different agent that generates images. So go through the manuscript, throw around ideas, and generate new prompts, very detailed prompts for a different agent, and then copy paste over there. I haven't done automation of. I still need to copy paste, but that won't be long either.
So you have a meta agent that's creating you have a meta prompt that's creating other prompts to actually go and do the works at other agents.
Yes, that is correct. And you will see some crazy ones. Like I think that I'm a Viking in the next video or something like that. I don't know whether that's good for videos or bad. It's just that I'm having so much fun.
Well, good. So 9,000 views on that. You're up to 87,000 over. So you're close to 100,000. That's good.
Hopefully by the end of the year, but not very likely.
Yeah. Still though, man, better than last year. Every little bit helps. Speaking of every little bit helps, I went to Buc-ee's for people that are in the U.S. Oh, it's my eyes. Buc-ee's. I'm hitting the hard stuff today. I have strawberry lemonade.
What's Buc-ee's?
It's a gas station, but it's not a gas station.
Okay.
It's a retail store that sells gas. We'll put it that way.
Okay.
It's not like Walmart, but it's a gas station. They only have 120 pumps at mine. There's one that's down close to Austin that has, I think, close to 250 pumps. It's a truck stop for cars and lots of food. If you've never done Buc-ee's, you got to do Buc-ee's when you come back again. All right. So next week, we're not going to be here. I made the decision. So Are you around on the 11th? I haven't looked at your calendar yet.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere until September.
Okay, so you're in for the summer, more or less.
Yeah, I'm not traveling.
Right. Not for business. There we go. Not for business. So what does the summer look like? For you, it's going to be get up, go ride a bike, work.
No, not
ride a
get
bike
up,
some more?
Ride a bike. If I get up around noon, I'm
Well,
in
I
Spain.
know.
If I go and ride a bike when I get up, I will
too
not come
hot.
back.
Yeah.
Exactly. So biking is later, like 5
okay.
o'clock afternoon. I kind of 4 hours before sunset,
Okay.
just to have enough leeway. Other than that, it's mostly work with occasional pool. It's more a change of a scenery than really change.
Yeah. Still trying to figure out what mine is. I've got a pool. I just have to keep it clean. So the kids can come over and play in it. I don't ever get in it, but hey, that's.
The goal of this year is for me to buy a hammock.
Hammock, yeah.
And then work.
But if you get in the hammock, you'll go to sleep. Except
and then eventually wake up and work. I don't know. We'll see.
But the AI agents are going to be working while you're in the hammock. Can you get an AI agent to go order you a hammock, and then have that sent to a handyman to come in and install it for you?
Oh man, I've been having. Speaking of agents to work for me,
Yeah.
what I'm going to say works only in relatively well-scoped short things. I haven't had great results with kind of new features and stuff like that. But if it's a bug or something like that, directly in the issue, fix it.
Just fix it.
Just fix it. Just fix it, and I review it. And if it's a bug fix, most of the time, it's good as is, right? Kind of.
Yeah.
Create a pull request, review, go for it. Doesn't work well for. Hey, I have this new feature. I need to supervise it and kind of like redirect it. But bug fixes. Hey, if you work on a project, especially open source, just enable it. Just go and select all the issues and let it fix all of it, and then don't merge it automatically, right? But kind of just let it fix all of them and see the PRs and see whether it's okay or not. Imagine having an open source project without issues for more than a couple of days.
I was closing my eyes because I was just dreaming. It feels like a dream. I've been in a dream state now for 4 months. It's like that's an even bigger dream.
Because issues are less likely to. It's less likely to do the wrong thing with the issues, right? Because assuming that the issue is well documented, kind of
correct.
Okay, so this is what happens, right?
Yeah.
Find the problem, fix it. I'll review it. And what makes it great is that, I've been using Anthropic for that.
Mm-hmm.
You can use Copilot if you dare, but it's horrible, but you can try. And just kind of like select all, and it works and does the things. And then same day or tomorrow, whenever, right? Whenever you have time, that's independent of each other. You say, hey, I'm going to review one of them or 5. It's waiting for you. In worst case scenario, you just say no. That's the worst case scenario, right?
Yeah. It's no worse than somebody getting thrown on the project to work on it. It's like, how do we tag those issues now to be good first issues for agents? That would be interesting, to where if you automatically tag it.
Depends which agent you're using. So if you're using Copilot, you don't need to tag it. If you're using Copilot, you just add it to the issue.
Right.
Right?
That's true.
You just add Copilot to the issue. If it's Claude, you just add Claude, fix it.
Right. I have so much to learn.
Review the PR. See what happens.
I have one PR that is or one issue that I've been stuck with for about 2 days. I finally found the problem, but it's a chicken and egg fix. And it's like, is it my brain fog or am I really in a chicken and egg situation? Because then it's like,
if you have, it takes time to become proficient with anything, and that includes AI, right?
Yeah.
The results, just like coding, right? Picture yourself, first lines of code you wrote were rubbish, right?
Yeah.
It takes time to understand how to do it, and then what works, what doesn't, and so on and so forth. So don't start with chicken and egg issue. Don't start with something that hurts your head. Start with something.
I know, but that's the problem I have right now. It's like I just want it fixed. But yeah,
Okay,
you're right.
then go for it.
Yeah, I know. That might be this afternoon's job of, can you fix this for me? I don't understand. Anyway.
Yeah, if you choose Anthropic, which I strongly suggest because it's better than Copilot, just when you, I don't remember the exact command, but basically when you fire up Cloud Code in your terminal, there is a / command to actually add it to your org.
Oh, okay.
And it will essentially create GitHub Actions.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. All right. Great. I have my marching orders for today. So we will be back on July 11th. That's the plan. I do reserve the right to come back and maybe come back next Friday, but I still think I'm going to take it off because why not?
It's fine.
It's fine. Get back into the rhythm. All right. Thanks, everybody. Good to see you. And we'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks. But between now and then, podcast should start coming back out again on July 9th. What is your status now? I saw you did an AMA with Scott yesterday. Is that are you basically doing every Thursday at this point still?
Yeah, every Thursday AMA, every Monday video, and now every Friday this podcast.
Good. All right, man. Well, thanks everybody. We'll talk to you. See, I can't even talk. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks.